Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Tony Talks and Get Up and Grow. I am your host, Tony Rodriguez. Today, as we have for the last couple of Saturdays, I have the honor of bringing on a really good friend of mine, Brian Bradley, to share with us. As you know, Tony Talks is a conversation basically with me and inspirational leaders, influencers, change makers, people that aren't just doing well in life, but that are doing good in the world. And this is an interactive conversation. I'm having a conversation with Brian, but I also want to engage all of you, and we want to answer any of your questions that you may have. So please comment in the comment anywhere, whether you're watching on YouTube or whether you're watching on Facebook. Just ask your questions, make your comments, and whatever we can get to during the show, we will. Anything else, we will answer outside of that. So Brian, like I said, is a master, and really he's the number one guy after Pete Egoscue that we had on the show recently ourselves. He is the number one guy at the Egoscue method and opening up places all over the world. So the thing about this show and these shows that we're holding on Saturday is this is about eliminating pain. So if you're in pain now, or you know someone who's in pain, click share this video now, invite them to watch it with you, start a watch party, whatever you want to do, or you can send it to them afterwards, because the Egoscue method helps you with your structure and how to align yourself and your muscles and everything else. That there's simple stretches, or rather moves, that you can make that you can fire up and activate your muscles that will eliminate pain just like that. So if you know anybody in pain, please join in. Again, here he is, the one and only Brian Bradley. He's a speaker, he's an inspirational coach, and certainly a master at health and wellness. And here he is. Let me bring him onto the screen. He's been in the waiting room, patiently waiting. Here he is. It's Brian Bradley. What's up, brother? Oh, hold on. I still got you muted. Let's try it again.
To some people, me being muted is a good thing.
They say the same thing when I go to the karaoke bar.
Well, it's
like, give me the mic.
I could bring out family members that go like this. Oh, God.
That's funny. So great to have you back here again. I appreciate you coming on, and you're standing Saturday, and today we did come on a little earlier, so I apologize for that. But because of scheduling, we did come on 2 hours early. So for those of you who are on here watching already, great. For those of you who will watch at a regular time, thank you for always watching and sharing. So what are we going to discuss today, Mr. Bradley?
Well, first of all,
nice haircut.
Thank you. I did it myself.
Yeah. Wait.
No, that's good, except if I show you the back, the mohawk, oh, it's on.
Yeah. Well, you probably did the same thing I did. You've got the shaver with the trim angle thing, and you kind of did the whole thing, right? So in the back,
I'm not on stage and stuff for a while, so the mohawk is back, which looks like a mullet. So 1986 all over again, baby.
Listen, by the time this is all over, I'm probably gonna have the same dude. So
on TV, if you look at him, he looks amazing. And then when you see him live, his hair's starting to come out like this. I'm like, somebody get that guy a clipper. Like,
who's that? I missed it. Sorry.
Oh, Dr. Oz.
Oh.
And did you see the live Tony Robbins small business thing the other day?
I did not, actually. I got to go back and see if I can find the replay of that.
Really good. The first 20 minutes, people were bitching like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Tony's saying the virus isn't a big deal. If you listen, no, he said it is a big deal. But everybody came there for a business talk, and he was giving facts from people around the world, looking at numbers, everything where the projections, everybody's starting to question why in regards to business are we doing what we're doing. And look, you have the nurse in the house, so we get what's going on. But in regards to business, this is painful. This is painful for a lot of people. Look, I'm in my, I moved luckily I have a 3-car garage, which, for my son parking and all that kind of stuff, we have a tandem, so I can turn this into my own little studio. That's why I'm echoing a little bit, but it gives us a little bit more room to maybe do some exercises on the floor. And what I have for today are a couple, like what I want to call a functional abdominal progression. So somebody saying, I'd like to have my body feel better. Number one, no pain, pain-free. Number two, I'd like it to look better. Okay, well, that comes down to what we're sticking in our mouth too. And it's easy while you're at home to start thinking, maybe, wow, okay, so that's what my garage looks like. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah, we didn't do that. I'm actually doing the split screen because I'm actually sharing this video to a couple of groups.
No, this is good because I get to see. I'm thinking that this was wide enough when we were on here before, and I'm like, okay, it looks really good. And then I'm going, there's all the scuba and snowboarding and boogie boarding and all that stuff. And I'm like, please,
Nice.
I picked up my laundry over there. Okay, good. So as you can see, we were talking about what people think about chronic pain, and they want to get out of pain. They want to move better. They want to look better. They want to feel better. They want to live better. Well, part of that living better comes down to how are you moving? And I sound like a broken record here every week. So that's why I put out a thing today on Instagram or Facebook or something where I said, bring your questions and they better not be stupid. Because we know there's no such thing as a stupid question, but for 3 weeks now, we've been discussing ways out of typical symptoms, ways out of typical boredom at home, things to do, compelling futures, all that stuff. One of the most important things is people think that their, quote, core is what should be strong. So I get a bunch of people who do, in fact, I got this text this morning. I'll bring it up. It was from one of the guys here. I'll hopefully take his name off of this. Good. And this is a great question because a lot of people are doing this. Michelle's group is doing this too. Okay, so this says, can you do this? And it's basically the squat for 30 days or 30 times for 30 days. And this is what it says. Let me see if I can get that to be seen.
I'm working up to this while I do Egoscue stretches you gave me. Can you do a deep squat and hold it with no pain? Squat challenge 30-30. And this was put out by Ida Portal, who's one of the main moving people around the world. I get a lot of questions from people. I get a lot of clients who are doing that kind of stuff who end up in symptoms. But look, they're doing their best to bring movement around, and movement can't be just movement. You can't just do a 30 for 30 or do a push-up challenge because now you're sequestered at home and then end up like this guy who was the world record plank holder. And I mean, he held it for a long time, bro. And by the way, when I touch my nose and my face, I did just shower and I'm in my house, so I'm okay. So people shouldn't be freaked out. Oh my God, Brian touched his nose. Okay. So I hear people talking about that they're making calls to police because they hear their neighbors coughing. So that's just interesting. Yes, the retired Marine. Yes, right? But look at his upper back. Yeah. So we found him. He's up here in Oceanside. One of my guys found him. In fact, the guy that's at the Niners found him, and he's talking to him one day on the thing. And he said, "Look, you're in your plank. You're like this. We're posture guys. We want a little bit of this and this." You can see when I'm all up like this, you can't see the great All Blacks logo. You do this, everything comes visible because your mid back dropped to a better position. So we're going to go over this a little bit today. I'm going to run you through a functional abdominal progression, starting with possibly some pelvic tilts, then some lateral knee drops, which will fire your obliques and things like that help you rotate. All of this is to get that upper back to get out of this position and move to here so that you're actually moving better. But at the same time, you're going, wow, I'm getting abdominal work, which will lead into this one, which is major abdominal work. I call it the greatest abdominal exercise ever. Like, it's just amazing when you can set yourself up for it and you can reap the benefit on the backside. Yeah. So any questions before we start? No, I'm good. I'm good to go. I'm good to see you do it. I'll actually prep here, move some stuff around to do them with you for sure. Well, you can do whatever you want. It's even if it's and I apologize, you can see the not just my backdrop, but the other parts of my garage. But no, now you can't. When we're on the full screen, you can't. Okay, but I'm going to move over to this is the All Blacks, guys, and I'm going to move over to
one of my other favorite teams so you can see me a little better. I'm going to make sure that the black doesn't mend or just mesh in with the black. Is that okay?
Before you do that, let me just say, Anne-Marie says, it was awesome meeting you at UPW Miami. I've been standing as you advised, but it is aggravating my back instead of reducing my pain. 3 herniated discs, L4, L5.
S1.
S1 and L2 with sciatica down both legs plus scoliosis. Any further advice? Thanks.
Yeah, there's a huge amount of advice. And thank you for the question, because this is a real question about, I'm standing like this and I'm doing this, but it's causing a little bit more pain. Now, the first question I ask my customer at that point is it the same type of pain but worse, or is it a different type of pain? Like somebody will say, God, my left leg's killing me, it's doing this, and my right leg's hurting me. We stand them like that, we go like this, or we have them lay down on their back, and all of a sudden it's, oh, now both sides of my back hurt. But they're grabbing up here versus down into the hip, and I'm like, is that the same symptom as before? No. Does it feel like pain or does it feel like work? It's like, it just feels like it's working. But I understand psychologically where they're coming from, because don't add on to the bullshit of my pain that I already have. Don't make it worse. You guys don't have enough room on your plates right now for increased symptoms. You don't have enough room on your plates for another responsibility. I get it. So what we want to think about is maybe, and because the symptom is the same type of pain, then in my opinion, that movement becomes noxious for her. She's not ready for it yet. And the key word is yet. So if it hurts, trust your instinct, Emery, where you would say, you know what, this is not the same, or sorry, this is the same symptom but worse. It's not a different symptom, just work. I'm gonna stop doing it. Remember, quit listening to the experts about what you should be doing. Trust your instincts a little bit about the body that you own. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that so many times we ignore the signs that are the messages that our bodies are giving us, and that's why we get ourselves into the situations that we are actually.
Yeah, but Tony, it makes sense to us right now, and everybody else listening is going, yeah, that makes sense. To Anne-Marie, she's like this, yeah, it makes sense, dumbass, but what do I do? Right? That's the real question. What can she do instead? So I'm going to go through a couple things that might be safer. This is why I call this the functional abdominal progression, because we could lead into full sit-ups way up here, like, you know, the old school kind where you'd go all the way up in the presidential fitness thing. But we're not starting there. We're going to be starting in an exercise called pelvic tilts. Then we're going to go to knee drops. Then we might go to some abdominal crunches with our legs out. Then we might go to something like that. You cannot, in that position with her, with scoliosis, I would bet 10 to 1 when she goes up like this and pulls her arms back that they're not even bilaterally moving. It's not her fault. That scoliosis has a mind of its own and shows as a shoulder blade that's locked down. And let me show you this before we get started, just to give you the example of what the crooked spine label does to your shoulder blade. I just hope I don't pull up the wrong pictures. Okay, there we go. So if the spine is in that position, I'm trying to get that to lighten up for you guys. How do I do that? Let's see here. Bring it closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it off to the right.
Yep. So having that, and I showed you this one before, that's the same spine a year later, much straighter. But the key is not about the success story. The key is that the shoulder blade is the lockdown mechanism on a scoliosis customer. And we have to get it to a point where the scoliosis is no longer the driver and driving everything in your existence at that point. Okay, so let's do this. There we go. Okay, so we're going to start, but I want to make sure you guys can see me. So I'm going to go to something a little lighter. Let's take you to
Barcelona. Nice.
So I'm going to have you just lie down on your back with your knees bent in this position.
All right, hold on. Let me move my stuff over here.
I'm sorry, I don't have bright yellow pants. The key with this exercise, especially for someone like Anne-Marie with scoliosis, where the shoulder blade, laying here palms up, completely relaxing your shoulders is one of the main keys here. And then what you're going to do is, I'll move this down so you can kind of see my hips move. You're going to take your pelvis without pushing off your legs. You're going to abdominal contract and roll your pelvis backward to flatten your spine to the floor.
Gotcha.
And then you're going to use the muscles here and your lower back to go the other way, where you actually create room under here where I could reach under my lower back. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So what we're going to do is have you just take that pelvis and roll back and forth like 10 times. So ideally, Tony, you're like this. You're going here, here, and it should be like almost a massaging motion, and no push off your legs into the floor. This is training the abdominal wall how to work with your back muscles and your deep hip flexors. So just back and forth. And you can see by the movement on my head that the whole spine is being affected by the motion, because my chin drops and then it goes back up.
And how many times should we do that?
Like 10 to 15 times each direction. And then you can do this. Widen your feet a little bit.
Okay.
And what you're going to do now is you're going to drop and control your legs going one direction. So you're just going to slowly do this. Let it sit for a second. Control it, come back up, and roll to the other side. Like your knees are like windshield wipers. But here's what I don't want. I don't want you going. I want it to be nice and slow, because then the deep, deep, deep spinal stabilizers and movers that cause rotation and the oblique muscles that cause rotation can control your movement down. And by the way, when you do this, there's a movement up into, when I drop to the right, my left shoulder blade wants to get involved, which is good. So now we're working these external obliques tied into the serratus muscle over here. No big deal, you're not tested on the muscles, but just know that the shoulder blade, some of you will feel like it pulls off the ground. And Tony, you want to do this motion. Can you see my legs moving? Oh yeah, just watch Tony's legs and go the other way. And just stay there, palms up.
Let's see if we can't change this around. Wait. I've got between the dogs and the cats, I always got something bothering me.
Oh, I don't care about that. That's good. As long as you don't get attacked when the dog's in heat. Spread your feet out just a little bit. So your feet would be probably about 1.5 feet wide, and then just rock it over. Again, guys, this should actually feel good.
It does, actually.
Yeah, just let it keep going. And if you just follow the plaid or the stripes that are on your shirt, we can see that as you drop to your left, your shirt is actually twisting. I want you to use that as the analogy for the muscles that are in your body going through the same thing. Yep, just give me like 3 more each way.
It feels great on the lower back. It's just opening it up. I hope everybody at home, I hope if you're watching, you can do this as well to follow along, because it's so important to not only just hear it, but do it so you see how it feels as you're getting the instruction.
So we did pelvic tilts. We did knee drops to set us up for something like what's coming next, which is you put your feet in this position straight ahead.
Hold on, let me go to full screen so we can see what you're doing.
Bring the feet all the way together. Bring the knees all the way together.
Let's go to this one here. Here we go. Perfect.
and then drop your knees out by putting the very bottoms of your feet together into the butterfly like frog position. And that should feel like it arched your lower back up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, interlace your hands behind your head. Look up, look back, and that will stop you from doing this. I don't want you pulling your chin into your chest. I want no rounding at all. I want you to go straight up 1 inch. While this is dropped, you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice my elbows are out to my sides. I am not pulling them in forward like this. It's not about how far you go up. You're literally coming up maybe 1 inch, and your neck is only moving with your abs pulling you up, not your arms. But your elbows do leave the floor, and then you come back down. So
hey, do your elbows stay on the floor? Or they leave the floor, so they're going to leave the floor.
Yeah, they leave the floor. You bring them up about 1 or 2 inches with your head, but this is pulling you up.
What's pulling me up? Do that again.
Your abs.
Okay. Yep.
So yes. So no pressure on the back of your head, fully interlaced behind your head.
Yep.
And the reason I say fully interlaced, especially for scoliosis, and this goes for everybody, that shoulder blade has to move on your rib cage for you to be able to train your, quote, core correctly.
So for this to work properly, you're not using your hands, you're not using your arms, you're just pulling up with your abs.
That's correct. And if you just gave me 10 of those, 20 of those, 30 of those, 50 of those, whatever you wanted to do. But Tony, you should be able to look up and back where the ceiling meets the wall. Yeah, so your chin is going straight up, no pressure on your neck.
This is definitely a new exercise for me. I've not done this one before.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the core abdominal position. Let's talk about that plank position. So I want you to, Tony, put your feet over by the guitar. Leave your camera where it is.
Okay.
You're over by the guitar. I want you to get in the elbow plank position on your stomach. Like the Marine that I showed you that did the, yep. Now just tuck your toes under. Yep, like that. And you're going to hold yourself. And now just plank straight up off your knees and hold that right there. Now, right there, I want you to let your shoulder blades collapse together. And you'll see, guys, how that dropped his hips a little bit. And what did it feel like it did to the exercise, Tony?
Made it a lot harder.
Correct. And I'm not looking to hurt you. So you can come out of this whenever you're ready. So instead of holding it with crappy positioning for 5 hours, like we saw with the guys that hold the world records, instead, we're going to hold it for a much shorter time in the right position to fire the right muscles.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, you're training kyphosis. You're training the rounded back. You're training the text neck, all that stuff. That's what you're training in the wrong position.
Right.
That's what we found. We found him in Oceanside. We gave it to him the right way. He held it for 34 seconds and quit.
Wow. Because it's so much more pressure on my lower back when I do that.
So, great question. Because remember, Anne-Marie said, my lower back is already suspect. Put your knees on the ground and do the same movement. So stay there, toes under. You're going to bridge up. Now just hold it right there and get used to the shoulder blades coming together first. Then a progression of this could be, hey, I'm going to straighten out one leg for 10 seconds. I'm going to straighten out another leg for 10 seconds. Then I'm going to straighten out both for 10 seconds to get your body used to holding this. But if it hurts too much, you don't do it. You trust your instincts.
Yeah, it's a much different experience.
Guys, we've got to get to a point, almost like reading that disclaimer on Pete's book the other day. If it doesn't make sense, don't do it. I am not your expert you should be listening to. I'm just coaching you around a little bit. I have my own opinions about this kind of stuff. Egoscue has our own opinions, but posture has to change. And this is more workout oriented today to get people to go, I'm already doing abs wrong because I'm pulling my head in like this when I do it. If that's the only change you made, you're making huge progress.
Yeah, that again, that's a completely different exercise for me because it's a lot harder. So I'm not going to be able to hold that plank for 2 minutes or 3 minutes.
Hold it for 15 seconds.
Yeah, but if you can hold it for 30 or 45 seconds and build up to it the same way I built up the other way, then it's certainly going to be a lot easier and a lot better for my back, I guess, as well. So awesome. That's a great one.
So think about the old full sit-ups too. Like that one I'd hold that for 30 to 60 seconds. And trust me, my feelings don't hurt if some days I can only hold it for 30 seconds. I don't care to hold it any longer. This is not a blank measuring contest, if you know what I mean. Okay. I lose. So now let's talk about this one, where it's like a version of the full sit-up where you're going, okay, if we said, how do I get up there? Most people would yank their head forward. I'm going to show you, just get up any way you can. I don't care how much momentum you use with your arms to get up there.
Right.
But once you're there, put your feet on the ground, big toe on the ground, hold on to your knees for a second, and get out of this position. And I want you to do this. Roll that pelvis and sit up. Hold that. And then lighten your load on your hands. Where do you feel that?
Right on the joint, like right here.
In the front and the side, like it's going to cramp.
The side.
Okay, now drop down. Get up. No, you don't even have to have your hands back there. I just whipped myself up.
Okay.
Grab your knees. Hold on. Sit up. Let go. 4, 3, 2, 1. And now let it round over and just comfortably sit back down. Look at me. Get up. Guys, and I mean it. You can whip yourself up there. I don't really care what it looks like. Once you're here, then sit up. Put the arch in your back. Look straight ahead. Drop your shoulders. Let go of your hands. Even if it's for 3 seconds, grab it again if you have to. But I'm getting it right here. I'm grabbing it.
Yeah, I'm getting my hamstrings now really firing, and the pain is actually not really there anymore. It's just the hamstrings are firing.
You mean the quads up on the top?
Sorry, the quads.
Yeah, it's okay. Look, they're part of your secondary hip flexors that we will use to help us hold that pelvic position to allow us to do something. So give me 2 more, Tony. Now, hands on your legs, sit up, hold that, let go of your hands. 3, 2, 1, go back down. Come back up. Grab your knees, sit up. 3, 2, 1, back down. Now, you ready for this?
Yep.
Put your feet over by the guitar, and you're going to go back into the plank position. But not on your knees.
On my knees?
Nope. Shoulder blades dropped, and what's the difference right away?
Wow. The back pain isn't there.
That's correct.
Wow.
Because now your primary hip flexor, the psoas muscle, is going, oh, I'll turn on, I'll help. You feel that?
Yep.
Okay, come on out of that. Now let's do this. There's a pelvic tilt, but now you're going to do cats and dogs, because guess what? This is an abdominal exercise too, when you have to contract here to pull your pelvis under, round your back over, look down, and then tilt the pelvis this way, shoulder blades together, look up. Here, here. And I want 10 of those each way. Make sure in that position right there, your shoulder blades are coming together. So let your chest kind of fall through, yep, and then go the other way. Good.
Yeah, this is definitely a lot easier than when we were doing this last week.
Yeah, because your upper back is starting to move more. And that's what everybody should be learning from these progressions, is that this stuff should get easier and easier and easier. That's why, some people say to me, look at age 50, whatever. And that's honestly how I feel about it. I'm 50, whatever. And it's not going to matter whether I'm 59 or 52. My body's going to move the same because I make a conscious choice to do the work on the inside out, not the outside in. So I don't care if you're people that watch this, maybe just say, I'm just going to do the pelvic tilts and the cats and dogs. I'm totally fine with that. And maybe for Anne-Marie, that might be good. Pelvic tilts, maybe the frog abs, and then the cats and dogs. And then would I put her in the plank? Probably not.
Right.
Would I put her full sit-ups to hold herself up there? Probably not, but she's going to have to be the one who instinctively says yes or no to that. But guys, sciatica sucks, but it is an opportunity for you to go after the cause of the dysfunction. All it is a signal. It's just a signal.
Yeah. By the way, Dana is on here. She says, I'm so doing this with my trainer on Monday. And what do you suggest for those of us whose triceps have been affected by paralysis?
Triceps. Well, yeah. She understands this already. Change your shoulder position, because your shoulder blade is one of the attachment points for the tricep. So your shoulder blade is more important than anything else. So even if she were to lay down in a position with her hands back like this, and she were to lay there for a minute in that frog position, that alone is going to reposition her shoulder blade so that her trainer can do more, quote, tricep work with her. Guys, walking fires the left leg and the right arm. You're going here, 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 here. That's normal walking. There are people in underdeveloped countries who never lift weights, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm just telling you they don't live in Los Angeles, something like this, or New York City, where we have everything in front of us. They actually walk for a living. Sometimes they hunt and gather for their food. They're prepping the food, all that stuff, versus having it prepped for us. That's what I mean by underdeveloped.
Gotcha. Dan's saying, I currently lock out my elbows, and she said she's been doing that already. I think one came in after the other.
Let me finish that one thought. I would rather have us live in an underdeveloped country to solve these pain problems than what we have in front of us now. Am I going to move to a place like that? Probably not. But I do the exercises to give me that same result. So what did she say?
She said, we were talking about that, and you said with the shoulders, drop the shoulders. She said she currently locks out her elbows, and she's been doing that already with the shoulders, the frog position.
So she's been interlacing her hands like this, setting on the floor in that frog position, letting the body adjust, and then doing tricep work with her trainer. If that's the answer, then A, you're already on your way to do that kind of stuff. I don't focus on tricep work. I focus on shoulder blade positioning. And this whole discussion about pelvic tilts, knee drops.
All right, so she just said again, I lock out my elbows for the cat-cow.
Oh, yeah. No, they got to be locked out for that. They got to lock out for that. But even when I could lock out my arms like this and still be rounded up too much here and almost doing this, like where you'd be going here, 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 here. But I want to change where the number is in my back. I want to change that by going here, 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 and then going here, push it up. So you really want to mobilize that mid back as much as possible.
Gotcha. Oh, my wife, she's funny. She says, why are you wearing that shirt? So while I'm off screen, I'm putting on another shirt.
Because look, honey, listen, it's very important you understand that with this face, I make any shirt look good.
I don't know about that. So, All right. So she goes on to say, to lock my elbows, my hands have to point out, not forward. And before that, she said, I already do the frog on my back. And then she said, to lock up my elbows, my hands have to point out, not forward.
Yeah, look, we're dealing with Mrs. Dana.
Yes, Dana.
Yeah, Dana, if those of you don't know the story, I'm not going to tell the story, but the injury that she had was catastrophic as it relates to severing the spinal cord in certain places or bruising it to a point where it created paralysis. She's now moving better, all that. So these specific questions have it relates to everybody that's on here, even the guy that was holding the plank that was rounded over, the Marine that I showed you. He has his own version of paralysis to his mid-back and doesn't even know it.
Right.
So we've got to get ourselves out of this position, but you can't just say, Brian said, pull my shoulder blades together, because they'll pull back, but the rounding of the spine is still there. You've got to get the segments of the spine to open up, which is why I'm a huge fan of concrete and working on the floor, especially with scoliosis and things like that. So you guys know the exercise. Hold on, Tone. Where you're laying down.
Yeah. Did they yesterday.
Yeah, so this is massive, guys. Like, this is one of these positions that, honestly, I have these glasses that have mirrors in them. So my TV's on the wall over here in my living room, and I'll watch a movie for 2 hours in this position.
When did you put that TV on your ceiling?
Well, in Southern California, that TV might end up in your head, and we just had another earthquake today. So,
whoa, yeah.
I think they had near California Reno border, or Nevada border, they had one that was like a 5 or something like that. So I'm sure we'll get a little shakes over here, but you know, it's a lot safer just to buy those glasses. And listen, you know, I'll put on movies, I'll watch sporting events. You know, in the past we used to watch sporting events in that position. But why not, instead of sitting in a chair all the time and doing this and then blaming sitting for being the problem?
Yeah. Dana's asking, where do I buy the block? Dana, I think that's just a box that he wrapped up. Am I wrong?
No, this is our Egoscue block. You can get it at crookedhuman.com.
Crookedhuman.com. It looked like it was just a box. Sorry.
No, it's condensed foam, but you can look, guys. This is an ottoman. It's an 18-inch chair. It's me at the airport with my legs up over a chair, waiting for a 2-hour layover. You know, not now, of course, but you know, I put a sign on my chest that says, "I'm fine. Leave me alone."
Right. Wake up somebody doing CPR and you, oh.
I swear to God, people are like, "Are you okay, sir?" I'm like, "Oh my God, I'd be okay if you get away from me." But I understand why they're doing it. But
right.
I put a sweatshirt down because you never know what's on the airport floor.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you a question since we're down here. My wife's been having, she's been having hip pain. What is an exercise? I know that the whole pigeon toes and do all of that, but what is there something specific that an exercise that she can do?
No, but let me answer that. Let me answer it by saying, let's pretend Anne Marie's question is the same as your wife's. They both hit me with the same thing. Hey, Brian, standing pigeon toed kind of bothers me. One has sciatic pain and one has hip pain. 2 different symptoms, 2 different postures, but there are exercises that are pretty safe, like laying down on your back, your legs up over here, the frog with your hands behind your head, doing some crunches there, letting your body even just settle in that position. The knee drops, dropping to left and right, nice and slow, controlling that movement. Absolutely.
Okay, that's the one 18 inches apart. Your feet aren't together for that one.
They're not together. It's almost like they're here.
Right.
You're going here.
Okay, so shoulder width apart, more or less.
Yep.
Okay. All right, this is good. That's a good one because she was hurting yesterday, and you know I did what I could, but you know I'm not Brian Bradley. I'm just saying.
Listen, I won't let the listeners know that you just now got me her birth date and her email and all that for me to generate a menu, and it's been 2 weeks. I don't even know why she stays with you, but that's just what I'm saying.
But yes, well, now we're all shirred up with that. Listen, Betty's asking, could we ensure our legs are at 90-degree angle and use anything? Can we just ensure Like Brian said, just a chair, a sofa, an ottoman, your mattress, depending on how big your mattress is. But just sit there, just look at it, and you feel it. Sometimes one of my sofas, I have to put a pillow underneath it because it's lower than what would be optimal. So I just use a pillow. And Dana says windshield wiper knees. I actually like that expression. Rock your knees side to side like a slow windshield wiper. So
yeah.
Right.
Sometimes it's even on the intermittent setting where it goes down and sits for a second, then comes back up and drops to the other side for a second. It doesn't have to be continuous. You'll build into continuous, but continuous versus not continuous, they're almost two different exercises.
Yeah.
The key is to get you out of your upper back doing most of the work where you're up here like this all day. Come on, relax up here. If my boxers or my MMA fighters were here all the time going like this, then one of them who 2 fights ago got crushed because it was just unfair where his upper body was and it was dictating his movement.
Yeah.
Unfair, didn't even know about it, corrected that, and became the real fighter that he was supposed to be.
Amazing. Conor McGregor, for those who don't know. By the way, Vinu is asking, besides walking, standing pose with pelvic tucked in, what else can you do for tight neck and tight shoulder?
Okay, so besides the walking, standing pose with the pelvis tucked in. Okay, so let's be clear on that. From what I hear, you're consciously making a pelvic change, unless she's talking about toes tucked in, arms up like this. Let's just assume it's that one. You're fine doing that. Cats and dogs done correctly. Pelvis moving first, mid-back moving second, neck coming up and down third. So and literally say it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Like you can literally move from the pelvis first. And if you can teach your body how to do that, and you might have to do those pelvic tilts first like we did, to teach your body how to mobilize.
So Venu's saying that you did it with Michelle Callow. The exercise with Michelle Callow the other day.
I think that was the standing pigeon-toed one, where we did standing pigeon-toed, hands behind head.
Okay. Do you want to do that one again? Do you want to show that one, or should I? Actually, I could probably just have her pop on real quick.
Well, we did I think we did this. And this is basically the movement that we did. You're just turning your toes in here with your quads tight, and at the same time, you're doing this. So elbows back, quads tight. My garage is freezing.
You're in Southern California.
Bro, we've been getting pounded. It's like monsoon season here. Finally a sunny day today. So, for those of you that don't do enough of this, if you don't lie down with your legs up over the pond like this, at least once a day, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, you're only robbing yourself. And eventually it's going to catch up. Not allow your body just to settle into the floor, to open up the logos, right? That's what we're talking about before. So that position you're in is an active version of what I'm saying this does on the passive.
Gotcha. So this is basically the same thing as laying on the floor, except this is active and the other way is passive. Got it.
And guess what? The result is the same, but I believe the one lying on the floor is more cement-based, where everything becomes more permanent. What you're doing is a little bit more temporary.
Gotcha. So what we should do this every morning, and after laying on our back, do this, and then lay on the 90-degree angle, maybe do it again at night before going to sleep, at least doing it twice a day.
Whatever helps them get through, and what order feels better to them. So some people may say, like Anne-Marie may say, laying on my back actually makes me feel worse at first. I do this, and then I do this, I feel better. Whereas Vinu might go, laying on my back feels really good to my neck until I go to get up. So I do that exercise first, and then we, it's a little bit about sequencing, which is, look, Tony, what we're doing right here is we're guessing, because the real benefit of Egoscue is when I get to see you one-on-one. And look, I'm not trying to sell you on doing therapy with this. I have business going on. Egoscue's open across the world because of our digital formats.
Right.
But when we have people who are really starting to question, like, what's going on, and I can't seem to get rid of this pain, look, it's time for us to quit dicking around and start seeing you over Skype, FaceTime, or Zoom. I mean, it really is. And I love that statement that I heard from Luke Wren the other day, where he said, when you pay attention. Like, to me, it's a game changer. Like, because a lot of people are going, well, I just found some stuff on YouTube and I tried it out. I'm like, last time I checked, Yoda said, don't try, do, or do not, whatever the hell. Well,
when people pay, they pay attention. That's so true. So Amanda says you're also in different planes of gravity, standing versus laying down. So it's a different type of muscle activation. Dana says, can she do it on the bed? Do it on her bed because she can't get off the floor alone.
Tell her I said this. For sure, you can do that, but stop bitching. Okay. People don't feel sorry. You're kicking ass. That's all I have to say.
You're kicking ass. She's actually saying she wants to come kick. She says, I'm going to drive to you and kick your ass. Well, actually, that's not what she says. She says she'll drive to you. Can she come when allowed to see you when allowed to travel?
Why not?
And kick your ass. That's me putting that in.
Oh, listen, I don't mind. I've been hit harder than that. When I was working with Connor, he says, hey, Brian, I'm ruining the accent. He goes, do you want to go in the octagon and try some stuff? I go, no, you crazy bastard. I see what you do to people.
Yeah, right.
I'm talking about this. He was saying, can I change something in the octagon? But and you know what's the funny thing is I don't do MMA. I wrestled my whole life and stuff like that. But when you're in that octagon, I was in there looking around. I'm like, there's not enough room for me to run away from my opponent in here. This is not good.
Yeah. Valerie, yeah, I know. Listen, yeah, I've been in an octagon, again, not fighting, just because I happen to be a ringside anyway. But it's intimidating. You're in there, you're like, damn, you just don't. So Valerie says, can we use a ball instead of a box, or does it have to be stationary like the box when laying down?
That's a great call. Two things. I would say, if you have something that holds the ball and you can put your legs up on it and you don't have to hold them from falling off the ball, you're fine. It's got to be stable. You could fall asleep there. But secondly, in this position, let's say I was sitting on a ball. Hey, I feel like I'm doing more work because I'm on a physio ball. It gives me some, people do that. I want you to sit not at the front of the ball where it kind of holds the arch in there for you. I want you to sit beyond the apex, about 3 inches behind it, and that forces you to not fall off the back. Now you have to actually engage to hold yourself in that position. And that makes a physio ball sitting so much more functional.
Interesting. Excellent. So let's see. Dana says she's not bitching, just trying to adapt. Listen, that's one girl that doesn't bitch about life. She's amazing at what she's up to. So Amanda says, when you're laying on your back on the floor, what are your thoughts on use of a positioning device to open up the body like a bolster or roller towels?
Yep. So let's say this is a rolled up towel. So it's this wide. It's not a metal bottle. We have an exercise where you just lay on your back without the block, just knees bent, kind of like the pelvic tilt position that we did. And you can put this behind your neck and one behind your lower back. And that's we call it supine groin, or towels settle, like putting towels behind your neck and back, which are here and here, because those parts of your spine actually curve inward. The mid-back curves outward. So you have this curve and this curve where you can put a towel here and a towel here. I love them. Just don't put a telephone pole back there. They got to feel comfortable.
Right. She actually talks about that. Is the purpose of the anterior pelvic tilt?
Is the purpose of sitting on the physio ball up like this to create a forward tilt. Yes, because it's opposite of where Tony's at right now. For example, if you're all sitting down, we're most likely sitting posterior like this. You want to give your body some movement, which could be like sitting cats and dogs. You could be doing this motion. Everything you do at the pelvis, guys, is the base of the whip that changes all the way up the spine.
That's awesome. Actually, that's a great idea. Just even when you're sitting, just to roll your pelvis. Awesome. Awesome. Well, listen, gems. So always good, man. Always good. So let's see if we have any more questions here. Dana says, how much space is normal between the lower back and the floor?
1.27 centimeters. I have no idea. when your knees are up over the block like this, there should almost be no space. Your back should feel flat. When your feet go to the floor, knees bent, it should feel like the pelvis tilts and puts a little arch there. When you drop out to the frog, that increases the arch. If you drop your legs straight out on the floor, you have a huge arch. That's just natural biomechanics.
Awesome. Amanda says, let me put it on here. Do you ever use a towel vertically along the spine when laying down to facilitate scapular retraction and opening the chest, or focus on horizontal towels at neck and lower back?
Let me tell you why. I've seen it all. People lay on those long tubes. They'll use a roller and lay on them like this. You're truly not you're truly not giving the spine a chance to change in that vertical position. You're asking for it to change. Well, if this is good, more must be better, and more is not better. The reason why people are using that is they see the kyphosis. They lay on their back, they put the towel in here vertically, and they think that the shoulder blades will drop and open up this way. Your shoulder blades may drop, but your spine may never change. Remember, it's a connected unit from the neck to the base of the sacrum down here, right at the top of the crack of your butt. You'll feel that little tailbone right there. It's an organic connection between the top and bottom. And when we start thinking like a small change, I see a lot of people go, oh, I do this, and my back, I got to really loosen up. And they're almost like this, and like, oh gosh, versus sit up, twist, sit up, twist. So if you just, Tony, just go like this. Just have everybody kind of just sit in shitty posture. Now try to twist and look behind you. Okay, now come back to me. Sit up, anterior tilt, and now do it. And what's the range of motion like?
Wow. And it's really, well, I can feel when my back is tight because I have been doing yard work most of the day. I'm just saying. Yeah. That reminds me. Dana says, Brian, you are amazing, actually, is what she said. Amanda says, totally got it. We're aiming, hold on, let me put that on. We're aiming for the spine flexibility, not the shoulder.
She didn't say what part of the spine. She's talking the spine. Every piece affects the next piece and affects 17 vertebrae south. That's why it's true. Your neck will tell you what's not working down below if you just pay attention.
Yeah. Dana also, I think she's been drinking because she calls you a genius. I'm not sure what she was.
Listen, I can't tell you how many times in my life I've heard that. And I'm not joking, but I will tell you, it's never comfortable to hear it because I promise you, I didn't make this shit up. I luckily ran into Pete Egoscue almost 30 years ago this year and changed my complete line of thinking. I would have been one of those a-holes with blinders on coming in going, Pete Egoscue is a joke. He doesn't have a medical degree. I don't know what he's saying. And posture, it doesn't sell. It's not enough. Come on. Guys, you've felt the changes. It cannot be denied. Stop BSing people because you're trying to increase your own significance when Pete is so the opposite of that, doesn't care, willing to share the information with everybody. He's rewriting the pain-free book right now. We're almost done with all the different things. And the new curriculum we're putting out for people to get certified in this, flat out game changer. It's going to take people to a completely new level. The study that we're doing with Harvard and Stanford right now is going to completely change the idea behind back pain. Because everybody's like, oh, you guys aren't studying. We need to see this. You know what? My clients are my study. Thank you. Yeah. We're successful because my clients come in and go, oh, you're a genius. And we turn it into, thank you, Dana, but you're the genius. She is the one putting in the work. Anne-Marie's putting in the work. Venu's putting in the work. And all it takes is a little bit of work. And some of that work means I'm going to lay on my back and do nothing.
Which is awesome. By the way, Delisle says my left side. Let me put that up. My left side, hip, pelvis is a mess. Shoulder pain and acute pain in lower hip and left hip and lower vertebrae. Have done wall drop until recently. Could that irritate me? Getting the release in that hip that's needed.
So the position she's talking about is on a slant board and you're standing up against the wall. I would tell you this, if you're in that position, the goal is not for you to go, I'm going to get up here because Brian wants my head against the wall. No, let the head go against the wall organically as the stretch on the back of the legs that you feel like you go, oh my gosh, my calves are pulling. That's where the action is, but the reaction is up the chain through the spine to the neck, causing you to change there. I would put a pillow between your knees. I'd have you do probably 500 glute contractions while you're in that position. Make sure your feet are 5 degrees turned in. And then again, instincts. You're asking this question for a reason. Something about wall drop may not feel right to you. Don't do it. If it does feel right, you do it. Get a hold of your therapist, whoever you're working with from Egoscue. Ask them this question. Is there a substitute? You got to get in touch with us to be able to do this. If you're already in our family of people doing therapy, then right now is a perfect time to get more attention by any of my therapists.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, it's a perfect time. I've been saying it all the time. It's a perfect time to get in touch with the people that you'd like to spend more time and get more attention from. Betty asked another great question. Is there anything we can do to remove the knot from behind the shoulder blade from too much PC work?
Yeah. Get up every hour and do something other than sitting there and on the computer looking at how the world is failing and the sky's falling.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, it's that interrupt, that reset that we stand up and go, okay, I need a reset from. If you get up every morning, you know, and this is another thing that, you know, Luke and I were talking about in the past, and I know you know Luke very well.
Yeah, very well.
These things are amazing, but they are dangerous because they can shape your mood for the rest of the day too. So why not get up in the morning, give yourself 60 minutes before you even pick this thing up. Go through your priming, go through your breathing techniques, take a Wim Hof cold shower. I took a 4-minute freezing cold shower this morning, laughing the entire time I was doing it. I'm going, it's almost like you say, God, I wish people could see this, but you really don't want to see any part of that. I get it. Tony, I'll send you the video, but don't post it. But you know, ideally you're in your, I'm going, and I'm literally making that your move to change your state. I wasn't really changing state, but that cold water changed my state. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Along with my bulletproof coffee. And then I go, okay, hey, let's pick it up. And I see your message. Hey, I'm ready to go. What did I write back? Let's go.
Oh, yeah, that was great. That was great.
Let's go. Let's go. And I joke with people like, I get up every morning and then, yeah, I am like this. It's like, wind me up, ready to go. Because I don't work. I have fun. You know, doing this is not work for me. Especially when we have interaction like this versus going, Brian, show me something and teach me something. That's fun. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, but it's so much better when people interact and ask questions because, listen, that's what I love about doing the show the way we do it. It's conversational. We go wherever it goes, but then we engage with everyone that's on here. You know what? Greg says, right. I think he means right on, guys. So happy you were connecting again and dropping bombs. Absolutely, Greg. Listen, this guy right here is agreed to join me every Saturday for the foreseeable future until you know that changes.
Next week, the guy that I called to try to get on here this week was clinic director and our owner down in Egoscue, Mexico City and Monterrey. And I wanted to get him on there because he's just one of these guys that, you know, I call him my Mexican brother because we have that same mentality. You had Greg on last week with me. All of us are like this. Like there's something wrong in the Egoscue water because it's an addiction.
I'm rocking the Egoscue colors. I don't know if you noticed that.
I did notice. Well, you are now. Before you weren't. Your wife gave you hell for it.
Oh, listen, she's definitely my better half. I mean, you know that already. So let's see. Actually, Dana's asking if you have time for a Monday Zoom with her, like a one-on-one session.
No,
I'll have you guys connect. No.
Did she get a hold of Pete?
I don't know. Did you get a hold of Pete, Dana? I don't know. Let's see if she answers. She said that she's not traveling, but she's got some good. Tim says, "Amen. Walk in Prime and read
before you touch your phone."
Yeah, before you touch your phone. Yeah, absolutely. And Dana says she just lost status. No, but just respond if you could. If you already reached out to Peter Egoscue by email and communicated with him. That's a good question. I'll connect you guys. She says she emailed, but no answer back. So Brian, if it's okay with you, I'll connect you guys.
Put me on the email and I'll make sure, because Pete, you know, he loves this kind of stuff. We were just talking this morning, prior to this, and we were talking about connection and all this kind of stuff. And I said, "What do you have planned for the weekend?" He goes, "What weekend?" I said, "Yes." That is exactly the mindset of everyone around Egoscue. And the mindset is, and what I love about this is long term, even when we're out of this COVID-19 BS, and I'm not calling it BS, I'm talking about the other stuff.
Yeah, of course.
I should call it BC, business is closed. When we get open again, weekends don't exist. And they never did for me, because I looked at it, I'd be up at Magic Mountain and getting on a roller coaster and hanging out in line with my son and 6 of his friends. And here I am with my earpiece doing a therapy call or doing a business call with one of my clinic owners. Why would you think because it's a Sunday you can't solve problems? I mean, I know, don't interrupt your family time, all that. I get you. You have to do that. But if this is your passion, if this is what you love to do, which it is absolutely defined me. And from a significance standpoint, I don't think people that act out of significance all the time are wrong, as long as what you're acting out on is helping other people.
Yeah. Well, I say it all the time. We talk about, in Tony Robbins' world, what's, the 6 human needs, which one is driving you, and significance sometimes is looked upon as a bad thing. Significance is all part of us. And if I tell people all the time, if you want to be number one, they talk about the ego. Ego is your enemy. No, it's not. Ego is there to serve you. Significance is there to serve you. You just can't let it drive the bus all the time, right? But if you want to be number one, you've got to have that significance. Has to be one of the drivers. Your ego's got to be a driver if you want to be number one at anything. You just can't let that dominate the rest of your life and make you an ass.
Yes, because you're exactly right. You can't, if it's about service and it's about being a foundation in someone else's life, and you need it because it makes you feel better, you know what? It's a good thing. Now, if it constantly takes over and you've overlooked your own health because you love taking care of other people because it keeps your eye off of you, that's a problem. So yeah. I love taking care of other people. I'm a social worker, blah, 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 blah. And I weigh 320 pounds because of something that happened to me early in life. And I get it. But let's go back to the problem. And why are you allowing that situation to still have control over you when you so badly want to forget about it?
Well, that's what, listen, and this is where you come in on the physical structural part of it, and I come in on that part of it, right? To help people with their mentality and letting go of what was happening in the past and help them grow through what they go through, right? Well, listen, brother, I can do this for hours with you, but in an effort and to respect your time and everybody that's on here, and I don't want you to really get tired of me yet. I'm going to, I think we're a little over an hour, so I'll give you last thoughts, and then of course we'll see you next Saturday, and then I'll close it up. So last thoughts from the great Brian Bradley.
Go to YouTube, and I'll give you 2 places to go. type in Egoscue Tower, Egoscue, and then Tower, and watch that video of, I'm on there, I think in a blue shirt with a young therapist model in front of me, and we went through a discussion about the Egoscue Tower. Flat out game changer. Number two, go to YouTube and type in All Blacks Haka, Haka, and just watch the Haka.
Hey, by the way, Amanda, I know you're watching. You've got the magic fast lightning fingers. Can you type those in for me? Thanks, you rock. So, and by the way, while I got the mic, she says, what's your favorite thing to do to manage right upper traps and body sign of stress? And before you answer that, Dana says, never trust a skinny chef or a fat nutritionist.
True. One of my colleagues that we do talks around the world with, he's just muscular like this. He said, why would you trust a nutritionist who couldn't teach the class without their shirt on?
Well done.
Yep. Well, so to answer that question about the upper traps and neck, it's you get the hip to do the work, to control the spine, and the traps will quit being overused. Right now, when we're in this position and we're in panic mode all day, and when's the world going to end, or when's it going to fix itself, and all this stuff adds to it, things you can't control. What you can control is the body you take to it. Do your exercises. It'll get you out of using your upper body, and your hip will start to kick in to do the work again. That is all I have for you.
Awesome. Brother, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on again and for sharing your time, because, again, our time is our most valuable asset. So I appreciate you donating and contributing your time to all of us. Don't go away. I'm just going to close the show. So for everyone watching, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please share this, because you already know, if you're on here again and you're watching, you know the value of these exercises. You know the value of the knowledge that that Brian brings. I'm sorry that I didn't have a better model aside from myself today, but I hope I did a good enough job for all of you. And remember, just to click share, tag your friends on here. We're also streaming live to YouTube. So please join my YouTube channel and subscribe. And certainly you can share the link out of there as well. And remember, my friends, that life is not about how many times you fall. It's about getting up after every fall. And you fall down 7 times, you get up 8. And remember that when you fall, you learn. When you get up, you grow. And with every fall, we have the opportunity to get up and grow. Appreciate you all, my friends. And tomorrow we will not be having a Tony Talks. It is Easter, and we're going to be observing that. So happy Easter to everyone. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you back on Monday with another amazing guest at 6 p.m. Eastern and 3 p.m. Pacific. And of course, we're going to have the wonderful Brian Bradley back next Saturday. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate all of you for watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy Easter, happy Passover, whatever you're celebrating. Happy weekend, happy all of it. And I will leave you all with, and I wish I was able to show this meme, but I saw this yesterday and I really laughed. And it was one of the comedians, I forget what his name is. He's looking like this, you wanted this weekend to last forever. How's that working out for you? Anyway, I appreciate all of you. Keep levity in your day, my friends. I appreciate all of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a beautiful weekend.